Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam, ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had the best of characteristics. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had the best of manners. And he was an example for all of mankind. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to be kind to the children, as we learn in many ahadith. And the Prophet ﷺ said, the person who, which means that the person who is not good to the children, that doesn't have mercy upon the children, Allah will not be mercy with them. Or, which means similar to that. And also to be kind and gentle to the elderly, to the people who are old people. Also, this is also mentioned in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ also had the best of manners. And he ordered us to have the best of manners. In a hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Ma min shayin athkulu fi mizan mu'min yawm al-qiyamah min husn al-khulq, wa inna Allah yubghidu al-fahish al-badhi." The Prophet ﷺ said in this hadith, which illustrates that the Prophet had good manners, Rashad and Sana. The Prophet had good manners and conduct, and he ordered us to have good manners and conduct, and he let us know that Allah loves the person who has good manners and conduct. Because the Prophet ﷺ said in that hadith, he said, there isn't a thing on the scale of a believer, and there will be the scale which judges your deeds, the good and the bad, on the day of judgment, which is heavier on the scale of the believer than good manners. And verily Allah hates sinful speech. So what is sinful speech? What is sinful speech, Sana? Yeah, what are some things that are bad speech? Cursing people, good, And
to not worship Allah.
Okay, doing shirk in your speech, yes, you're right. When people worship other than Allah with their tongue, they're speaking and praising things that were created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and people who are created by Allah, they're praising them to worship them, then yes, that's displeasing, that's hateful speech. Naam. We're talking about bad speech, though. What are bad speech? We just mentioned, so it's okay. So other ways in which bad speech are things like backbiting people. When you talk about someone and you say bad things behind their back. You say, so you lie about them. Or even if you tell the truth, but it's something that they don't like, then this is also bad. Or if you spread things about them, you say, so-and-so's like this, and you tell all the people because you want the people to think bad of that person. This is also hateful and sinful speech that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hates. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, "Inna Allah yubghidu al-fahish al-badhi," that verily Allah hates sinful and vile speech. And the Prophet ﷺ never used that kind of speech. He never said those kind of evil things and evil speech. Never. And this is mentioned, it's mentioned in his authentic sunnah, that some of the Sahaba, they mentioned it. They said the Prophet ﷺ never used bad speech. So he didn't curse people. He didn't curse and call people bad names and stuff like this, and so forth. Coming to the hadith at hand, which is very important, it shows us that the people of paradise, or the people who do good in this life, that they are the people who will be in a good place and do good things in the hereafter. And the people who do bad in this life are the people who will do bad in the hereafter. They'll be in the hellfire. وَعِيَاذًا بِاللَّهِ. So one of the companions, he said, كنت عند النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فسمعته يقول. So I was with the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, and I heard him say, أهل معروفي في الدنيا هم أهل معروفي في الآخرة وأهل منكري في الدنيا هم أهل منكري في الآخرة. And this hadith is Sahih لغيره. In this hadith, as far as for the meaning of this hadith, that we learn a lot of beneficial things. And first, let's also go with the translation. So the Prophet ﷺ said, which means that the people of goodness who do good, they command the good, that in this life, they are the people of good in the hereafter. And the people who do bad in this life, they are the people who are the people of evil in the hereafter. So if you do good in this life and you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're the people, inshallah ta'ala, the people of paradise. And if you do bad in this life and you disbelieve in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will be from the people of the hellfire. وَعِيَاذًا بِاللَّهِ مِنْ ذَلِكَ. And ma'ruf means everything that is good that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us with, and that is in the Sharia. Everything that is mentioned in the Sharia is good. Everything that is halal is good. And munkar is everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes as evil and bad. And everything that the Sharia is, according to the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that is considered haram or impermissible. That is what is considered bad. So ma'ruf is those things which Allah loves, and munkar is those things which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hates. For example, inna Allaha yuhibbu sabirin. Verily Allah loves the people who are patient. So patience is a good thing. It's a good thing. And if you're patient, it's an act of worship. Inna Allah yubghidu al-fahish al-badil, as we mentioned, as the Prophet ﷺ said, that Allah hates sinful speech. That is something bad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala dislikes and makes war on the person who deals in interest. That means interest is a bad thing, and it's sinful. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves those people who learn about His religion, as the people who seek knowledge. Allah loves them. And the people who go fi sabilillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves them. Those are some of the good deeds and some of the bad deeds, to show us that those things will bring us closer to Allah if we do good, and if we do bad, we will go further from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had the best character. He always commanded to the good and forbade the evil. He called people to do good, and he told them not to do bad. The Prophet ﷺ was very patient. As in a hadith, a man, he came to I told you this hadith before, but that a Bedouin Arab, he came from the desert. He wasn't a man who was known to the Sahaba, and he wasn't a person who lived in the city, in what was the little town of that time in Medina. This was in Medina, because he came in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his masjid. I believe it was the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's masjid. And he came in the masjid and he just peed in the masjid. He came in the masjid, stood up and just peed right there in the masjid. So then the people looked at him like, what, is this guy crazy? We need to do something to this guy. This is the masjid. This is a place to worship Allah. This man just came in and peed in there. What's going on? So the people, they wanted to harm him. They wanted to stop him. While he was peeing, because he didn't know. The man was ignorant. And he didn't know the hukum. He didn't know the ruling. He was just a desert Arab. He didn't know nothing. You know, he didn't really know anything about, you know, how to be more civil. Okay? So he just came and peed in the Prophet ﷺ's masjid. And the Prophet ﷺ left him. He told the people, no, stop. Don't harm him. Let him finish. So the man kept peeing. And then when he finished, the Prophet ﷺ advised him that, hey, this place is not for that. And he ordered the people, you know, that this place is for prayer and so forth. And he ordered the people to go get a water container and pour it on the place where the man urinated, where the Bedouin urinated at in the masjid. And this was in order to clean that place. Why? Because remember when we talked about that when there's najasa on the floor or the ground, we use what to clean it? Water. Yeah, we pour water on it. That cleans it. So, that is how, the reason we know that from that hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Subba ala bawlihi sijlan min ma' aw dhanubin min ma'. That the Prophet ﷺ ordered them to pour on the Bedouin's urine, on the place he urinated, some water to clean it. This shows us a lot about the characteristics of the Prophet ﷺ. Because number one, he was very patient. Number two, he was very gentle. He didn't yell at the person. He didn't curse at him. He stopped the people and he said, go get some water. You know, go get some water. And he taught the person. He was also a great teacher. He taught the man that, hey, this is not a place for that. This is a place for worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He also was very wise. The Prophet ﷺ was very wise too in his manners. And he was very wise. And he was he received the revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, with his wisdom, he allowed the man to finish. And the scholars, they say a couple of things. They say that this is because that if he would have stopped the man, number one, it would have hurt the man. Because when you try to hold when you need to go to the bathroom really, really bad and you try to hold it, it's very hard. It hurts your stomach, doesn't it? It hurts, it causes problems. That hurts your body. Your body is not made for that. Your body is made that when you want to go to the bathroom, you need to go. That's what your body tells you. Allah created you like that. That's your fitrah. Okay, that's the way Allah created you, that you need to get rid of that waste. It's bad stuff in you. It's from your food. It's the stuff your body doesn't need. Your body's finished with the good stuff from it, and that's the waste. So when you go to the bathroom, you're getting rid of the waste. That right there, the Prophet ﷺ, out of his wisdom, so he let the man finish. Another wisdom from that is that by not stopping the man, the Prophet ﷺ it didn't make the opportunity, because if he would have stopped the man while he was doing it, while he was urinating, then the man wouldn't have been able to stop probably, and it would have got on his hands, it would have got all over the masjid, it would have spread in the masjid. But instead he was just doing it in one place in the masjid. But if he tried to stop, and if the people bothered him, it would have got all over the place, and it would have spread even further in the masjid. So it would have been more difficult to clean up. Those are just some of the wisdoms that we learn from that hadith. So it shows us the Prophet was wise, he was gentle, he was intelligent, he was very kind, he had good manners, he spoke gently to the people, he wasn't harsh and hard on the people, okay? He wasn't a person who was aggressive, he didn't start fights, okay? Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But he was the best of examples for us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So that's a little bit about the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and about doing good and staying away from bad. And I ask Allah the Almighty to bless us in this gathering, and bless us with beneficial knowledge, and bless us to be of those people who do good and stay away from evil. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.